In the last few vlogs we've established that our model, our motivation for generosity is God, and ultimately this is demonstrated in the person of Jesus. One thing that it's difficult to avoid in all of this is the sheer extravagance of God's giving. Now, I was struck during our food bank collection at the end of last term by how unextravagant my giving can so often be. I found that I was wandering around Tesco's looking for the best bargains that I could find in the value range. It was only afterwards that I realised how stingy this is. I think we tend to see food banks as a good way of getting rid of stuff that we don't really want, but I just feel as though our attitude to giving needs to be so much more than this. My attitude to giving can often be a little bit like this. See, I've got all of these apples. My friend Nell here doesn't have any, so I better give her some. But before I do, I better just take a few bites. Hey, I don't know where my next supply of apples is coming from, so I better just stock up a bit now. I better make sure that I take care of all of my own needs first. I mean, they are my apples after all. I better hold on to the rest, just in case I get a bit hungry later. That's better. Well, here you go, friend. Have an apple. Now, this would be scary enough if Ben's vlog a few weeks ago hadn't made it very clear that when we give to God. I get the feeling that God wants a bit more than just our leftovers. God wants more than just Tesco value and apple cores. The whole sacrifice system in ancient Israel revolved around this idea of giving God the best that we have. Now, I realise there's a pretty decent case that can be made that with this example of shopping for food bank, actually by buying cheaper food we're able to buy more food and then meet the needs of more people. Now, that's obviously something that we have to consider and hold in tension, but I know that my natural instinct is to err to the side of miserliness, to offer God my leftovers. Now, I don't think that this is a problem solely for food banks. I think actually it's indicative of a widespread problem in our whole culture of giving. So often we give at minimal cost to ourselves. In this way we can use charity to legitimise our affluence. We give only when we know that we have enough set aside already for ourselves. And so we shrink uncomfortably away from Jesus commending the widow who gave out of her poverty, not out of her wealth. Just as Mother Teresa used to refuse fundraisers because she didn't want comfortable givers, giving the leftovers of their abundance, so we need to go beyond charity in our giving. Extravagance in giving applies to every area of giving that we're going to be looking at throughout the rest of this series. It means spending our precious hours baking cakes and writing letters, shaking up our idol of efficiency. It means forgiving people when they don't deserve it. It means holding lightly to the possessions and the gifts that you have, and it means communities of relationships where we refuse to comply with the laws of reciprocity. I know I often doubt whether giving more than it's comfortable to give will really be that joyous. But I think the reason that we doubt this paradox is because we're too scared to try it. What would it look like to rediscover extravagance in our giving?